challenge coming up in a few minutes from now. It's the Breakfast Show. Raj, guys, Sonia Datta right here on Sunrise Radio. We cross over live now to Shabnam Sahi, who's with a very important man, Tej Lalvani, who's the CEO of Vitabiotics and also the new Dragon on Dragon's Den. Good morning, Shabnam. Good morning, Tej.
Good morning, Raj. Good morning, Sonia. Now, of course, I'm sitting here with a man himself, the man that everyone's talking about. It is Mr. Tej Lalvani, the CEO of Vitabiotics. Welcome to Sunrise. What a pleasure it is to talk to you.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Now, you are the CEO of Vitabiotics. This is the UK's largest vitamin company we're talking about. You've been a huge part of its phenomenal growth over 20 years. This is now a company that's worth £300 million. And it was set up by your eminent father, Professor Tej Lalvani. We want to talk about you, the dragon, the new Dragon and Dragon's Den. But before that, let's concentrate on Tej Lalvani, the businessman. What I want to start by asking you is, when it comes to business, hitting occasional peaks of success, that would be good enough for some people. But for a company like Vitabiotics, for you to sustain this kind of success and to be a market leader, when it comes to product innovation, when it comes to your marketing strategies, when it comes to maintaining quality, high standards, you've led the way and you've stayed there at the top. How do you sustain that kind of success in business?
Well, it's a good question. I think I put it down to one thing really, and that's that the products actually work. We do clinical trials on our products. We make sure the formulation is right. There's a huge amount of research and development that go into it, and bringing out products that are effective, that can benefit customers, is really what keeps the business growing. And then it's about building the market, expanding internationally in the UK. But it's that passion that, my father had, and which has been inherited by me now, where I have the drive to want to improve other people's lives and improve their health. And, what's inspiring is to hear these amazing stories you get from customers who tell you how it's changed their lives. So that's really part of the success that's helped the business grow, I think.
I remember you saying in an interview that how couples who were told that they could never have a baby, they've come up to you and said that, thanks to using Pregnacare or whatever it is, Vitabiotics,
yeah.
It's changed their lives. They have a baby in their lives, and it is those stories that kind of spark your passion.
Completely. And with talking about Pregnacare, you think with a trial, double the chance of getting pregnant. So you can imagine with infertility so big today, how an important effect it is to change people's lives. And recently there's an amazing story, a woman who said couldn't conceive. She ended up having triplets when the doctors told her it was almost impossible. So stories like that really get you excited about the brand and what you can do and getting it in more people's hands to benefit.
Now, you showed an entrepreneurial spark when you were 12, right? You knew early on that you wanted to be a part of the family business. And now, because of your expertise in the field and because of course, all the passion that you have for what you do, the company is what it is. You have many prestigious awards to your name. What I want to know is, you've more than just earned your stripes. You haven't just inherited this business. I've heard that you actually started from, driving a forklift truck in your warehouse, and you kind of found out how exactly the company works. You worked in every department and worked your way up, and now you are the CEO. Why was it important for you to know the ropes of the business at such close quarters?
Well, I think there was two things. One, for me personally, firstly, the business was very small as well. And I needed to understand every bit of it. And I enjoyed starting off at the warehouse, working at different levels, working with different people. You get that respect in the business as well. And having a good understanding of each department, I think, is very important when you are CEOs, because you can understand the full potential of where certain areas can go, and limitations, and what the role of the person working in that job is, and whether they can do much more or whether they can do less. So I think that's important to understand all aspects of the business, and you can see where certain things need more attention or where they don't need attention.
Now, of course, coming to the Dragon's Den, something that everybody wants to talk about. You're the new dragon, you're the formidable new dragon. What made you say yes to the show? And were you a fan of the show before you were even approached for it?
I used to watch the show. I enjoyed watching it. It's a great show, I think. And I guess in the back of my head, I may have thought one or two times, what would it be like being a dragon, and what decision would I have done differently? But when I was approached by the BBC, it was a bit of a surprise, and I wasn't really sure because I hadn't been on camera before, and getting into the whole public profile. And then I chatted with my wife, and she said, look, I think it's a great thing for you. You've always been interested in investing in other businesses, working with other entrepreneurs. So just do it. So then I said, yeah. So then we went through the screen tests and the interviews, and finally worked out. So it's great.
And 3 episodes in, I mean, you've already let everybody know that you mean business, right? And also the fact that so many pitching entrepreneurs have singled you out as the dragon they'd like to collaborate with. How does that make you feel? How do the other dragons react to that?
Well, it's quite flattering. We've got a brand that's quite well recognized in the UK, and people coming in, understanding that if I can provide the distribution or the marketing that's necessary, that's always a good thing. But it's not that easy, because you still have to battle in the den. You've got Deborah, Peter, been there for years and years, and a lot of people come in gravitating towards them. So it's different every day, and it keeps you on your toes. It's a challenge. It's exciting at the same time.
And as a successful businessman yourself, what is it that you're looking for in a young dreamer who walks in with an idea? All they need is financing. And sometimes, I'm sure, as a businessman, it is an idea that appeals to you personally, but on a business level, it might be absolutely full of risks. How do you decide then?
Well, yes, certain businesses may seem appealing, but if the numbers don't work, then you may have a problem. But it all depends on what value I can add. If I can solve certain situations, or if I can improve certain costs, or open certain doors where I think this business could improve, then it may be worth the investment. These are small stage businesses, they're early stage businesses, so there is a big element of risk involved. But you have to try and take an educated guess as to whether you're going to be able to work with the entrepreneur, whether they've got the drive, the focus, the ability to build the business at the same time. Because you don't want to tell them what to do. You're a minority stake shareholder. It's about providing the guidance, the mentorship, and how you can add value to their business.
I'm in conversation with Mr. Tej Lalvani, who is the CEO of Vitabiotics, and of course the new dragon in Dragon's Den. Now, besides being a formidable new dragon, besides being a very successful entrepreneur, you're also a patron of many charitable causes, especially causes close to your heart. When it comes to educational campaigns, health initiatives, you do a lot, even before you've gone on Dragon's Den. Now, you're also a family man, you're a passionate musician, I hear. How do you strike a balance? And anybody who wishes to emulate your success, what would you say to them?
Well, for me, luckily I've got my wife, so if I'm working too hard, she'll keep me in check and make sure I've got the right balance. But no, seriously, I think it's about what you're passionate about and what you enjoy. I have a few interests, like music. I enjoy playing a couple of instruments, so that's great for relaxing and taking your mind off things. Spending time with the family is always great. So it is a balance, and you just try and fit in things where you can, and you have your vision and goal of where you want to take the business, and you just strive and work hard towards that. And that's what we've been doing, for the last 45 years. All
right. Now, I've been told that you're a man who really pays attention to detail, down to the row and the seat that you're going to be sitting in when you go to the cinemas, right? You really like that. So where does that come from? Where have you inherited that from, and why is it so important for you?
Yeah, I'm quite particular with certain things, but actually the attention to detail bit, people talk about micromanaging. But I think it's important to have an understanding of your business and to go into certain levels of detail. For me, I'm very particular about the marketing, the advertising, the way the packaging looks. If a font is off, or if the advertising copy is different, or I'm all over it. So for me, it's important to be in control of the brand. I'm always wanting to improve things. So tomorrow I'll come and say, okay, how can we make that better what we did yesterday, and fine-tuning it to try and get it as perfect as possible. But you have to balance it, because you need to get progress at the same time. You can't keep perfecting the same thing. But yeah, it just depends, what I'm thinking. But I'm quite involved in detail, yeah.
Fantastic. Now, just to wrap up, we have a quick fire for you. A day in the life of a dragon, Mr. Tej Lalvani. You ready for this?
Go ahead.
All right. First thing you do in the morning?
First thing I do in the morning is I exercise, I work out, I start the day, try and get energy in my body. That's what I do. Exercise.
All right, good. How many hours of work in a day?
Well, I guess I start my working day about 9 o'clock, and I'm home by about 10, so probably 12 hours, yeah.
That's a long day. Favorite hobby?
I would say I enjoy music, so, love playing music. I like watching movies, so that's, those two.
Favorite meal of the day?
Gotta be breakfast.
Gotta be breakfast.
Yeah, I enjoy a big, nice breakfast, starting the day with that, yeah.
Favorite TV show?
I like Suits, great TV show. Yeah. I've been watching that for several years.
And all-time favorite Hollywood film first, let's...
being a fan of a lot of movies, it's difficult to choose. But I'd say Heat, where you've got De Niro and Al Pacino,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of tension in that movie. So it's quite a good movie. Yeah.
Bollywood.
Bollywood. 3 Idiots, maybe.
3 Idiots. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a very good one, actually.
It's got a bit of a mix in it. And,
Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't say Sholay, because most people go for the safe option, which is Sholay. 3 Idiots. Very good choice. Favorite song?
Favorite song? It's probably quite unforgettable, because it's unforgettable. Right now, I think, yeah, it's probably my favorite song.
What are you reading right now?
I'm probably a little bit biased, but I would say my father's book, The Making of India, Story of British Enterprise, which is a fantastic insight into the British-India relationship and with the British in India at the time in rule. So yeah,
I was there for the launch, and I remember your father spoke so passionately about it. It's really, really brilliant.
It is a great book. It's a well-researched book.
Last thing you do at night?
The last thing I do at night is I try and watch a bit of TV to unwind from a long day. But then I'll sort of go through my calendar and see what I've got planned for the next day and probably for the next week, and see how I'm going to organize it, basically.
I'm going to sneak in one last question. Guilty pleasure?
Guilty pleasure. I do like being pampered by getting massages. That's it.
Well, there you go. Well, you heard it on Sunrise. Mr. Tej Lalvani, thank you so much for speaking to us. It was really, really wonderful to catch up with you. And you know that everybody's watching it. Everybody's loving what you're doing on the Dragon's Den. And as you're saying, that's only an extension of what you've always been passionate about, which is helping other entrepreneurs along. Besides, of course, being a part of this fantastic business, which is now not only the market leader, but also worth £300 million. Thank you so much for talking to us on Sunrise.
Thank you. So kind. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Raj and Sonia, it's back to you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Sunrise Radio.